Hunter Biden has been found guilty. Down goes Hunter, down goes Hunter. And so he's found guilty for the three counts: false statement, material to a firearm sale, false statement and firearms transaction record, possession of a firearm as a drug user or addict. You're probably familiar with these charges. He was found guilty on all of them. And so this is obviously a massive deal. The story is developing literally as we're beginning our show right now, and it could be consequential. So of the three counts that I talked about, the first and last have a maximum sentence of 10 years. The second has a maximum sentence of 5 years. Now, that does not necessarily mean that he's going to be spending time in prison. Apparently, generally in these, first-time offenders who did not use their weapons to commit a violent crime typically receive no jail time. I'm sure many on the right now are calling for the firing squad, ironically enough. He put out a statement saying that he was disappointed by the verdict, but that he was grateful for the love and support of his family and friends. And I'm confused by that. So he was found guilty, and he said he disagrees with it, but accepts it and is glad for the support. I thought you were supposed to start yelling, "Rigged trial, rigged, they rigged it on me, it's all rigged, conflicted." No, see, it's not. Both sides, okay? Both sides are not the same on all of this stuff. Both sides apparently can be found guilty of felonies. So there goes the whole myth that the justice system is being weirdly unfair to Donald Trump. But the son of the president has been found guilty of 3 counts. And Sabrina, that's big news. What do you make of this?
I think when it comes to Hunter Biden, I think, he's going to be just fine. Like you said, we don't know what his sentencing is going to be. I don't anticipate him getting like the max for anything, being the president's son, being a white man. Other people have been sentenced much, much worse. So I'm not too worried about him. I am excited to see conservative responses, Republican responses, because, this kind of does have a little bit to do with like the Second Amendment and stuff. So you would think that ordinarily that this is something that they would, support. But because it's Hunter Biden, obviously they're gonna, take their win. They're gonna take the dub.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and I fully expect that, like, basically take every single thing that has been said about Donald Trump and the civil lawsuits that he's lost. I'll take every opportunity I can to remind people that he was not only found guilty of the New York fraud lawsuit, but he was also found liable for having sexually abused E. Jean Carroll. 2 important verdicts that nobody talks about anymore. It seems weird. President was found to have raped a woman, and it's not like news for some reason in this trial. But anyway, that was election interference. This isn't, I guess. I mean, like Biden is the leading Democratic candidate and they just found his son guilty of 3 counts. How is that not election interference? And I was also told by Jesse Waters, who I think that everyone thinks of as kind of like a political wunderkid, great predictions and all that. He said that any of the black jurors would be predisposed to let a guy off for drug crimes. He didn't say exactly why he thought that, but I think we all know why he thought that. And weirdly, they found him guilty. So it's all rigged. It's all of this has been set in motion by Joe Biden. And for some reason, I guess Joe Biden wanted his son to be found guilty of 3 felonies a few weeks before the RNC. Weird as a strategy, I suppose. And by the way, they keep saying that like it's unfair or it's a distraction to refer to Donald Trump as a felon for the 34 counts that he was found guilty of. Guarantee father of convicted felon is a phrase you are going to hear 1.3 bajillion times between now and November 5th. So just buckle up for that. And by the way, his sentencing date has not yet been set, but we do know that President Biden has already announced that he is going to accept whatever sentence there is. He is not going to pardon him. And look, he's a politician, politicians lie. He could potentially go back on that. The right is just automatically assuming he will. I don't think at this point he will. Why would he put out this statement at all if he was planning on potentially pardoning him? So no, I don't think that Hunter Biden necessarily will go to prison, but if he's sentenced to it, he'll go to it, okay? There's not gonna be any insane delay tactics or insane appeals or anything. They are just abiding by the justice system, and we are just desperately hoping that someday the Republicans will do so as well. Any other thoughts?
I do think that it's interesting that Biden is, trying to not abuse his power. He's trying to be neutral by saying that, he would respect the decision. And if Hunter needs to go to jail, then, he'll accept it. I don't think that the same would happen if Trump was in office. I think if Trump was on his way out, he'd be pardoning left and right, even for his own kids. Well, maybe not all of his own kids, but yeah, it's just interesting. I wonder if this is Biden trying to appeal to Republicans, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know. Weird strategy.
100%. Yeah. By the way, there was where's the message from? Oh, I wish I'd caught it when I did. But the basic idea was, and I think it's a good point. A lot of people are talking about this. Like, can you imagine if they got Don Jr. specifically on a violation having to do with guns, and they were to lock him up for that, drugs and guns, which I mean, were you to pursue Don Jr., inevitably you would get him for that. I think that we all understand that. But like the right has to be like, oh yeah, no, it's all totally justifiable. Yeah, no, if you don't do the paperwork exactly right, or if there's something in your background that interacts poorly with the guns, then yeah, you should go to prison for it. That's a thing that's consistent with their worldview. Taking someone down, like Trump was just campaigning yesterday. It's all over his Truth Social. Every candidate he endorses is going to defend America against the never-ending assault on the Second Amendment. And yet when they take down Hunter Biden for gun stuff, hold on, sorry, everybody be quiet. Trying to hear, no, not a peep. I don't hear a single peep out there about the fact that his Second Amendment rights apparently weren't strong enough to protect him. They like those gun laws, I suppose. And look, I'm pointing at all this hypocrisy, not because I want there to be no standard for Hunter Biden, just like they don't want there to be a standard for Trump. I want there to be standards for both. It appears he violated the law. I'm mad at the right. I'm not mad at the verdict. I don't care if Hunter Biden goes to prison. I wasn't even particularly that interested in the case because Hunter Biden is not a political guy. These crimes have nothing to do with Joe Biden. They have nothing to do with politics. Donald Trump's crimes do have to do with politics. They were in pursuit of trying to hide information in the run up to an election. And so it would be nice if there was some consistency. And we'll see what ends up happening with the sentencing. I imagine it'll come, in a month or two, something like that. And we'll see. It'll probably come out right around the time of the DNC. They were all bothered by Trump being sentenced right before the RNC. If this comes out on the eve of it, you think they're gonna complain about that? I don't think so. But anyway, that's the details we have right now. Any final thoughts, Sabrina, before we move on?
Kind of the same. I don't care about Hunter Biden. I don't even care about Joe Biden that much, to be honest. Not when there's a genocide happening. So I don't care about him.
I don't care. I don't care about them. I'm not really that into politics, honestly. Anyway, I'm kidding. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.